fun shit you get on there. I enjoy
Man,
it.
it's just a lot.
And why did you remove his name? Huh?
Oh, because
Or
I don't.
hers,
I
whoever.
never want to start a witch hunt. Like I never want to. I It's easy to be better than Colin Moriarty and just say like, oh, this person. Oh, don't say anything to him. But I'm not going to redact their name. Oh, but I don't drive a hate mob. Oh,
It's
lol.
really not that hard to not,
Yeah,
call people out.
I never want to start a witch hunt or anything. Like I wanted to call that person out, being like, look, man, if you're gonna come into my tweets and my comments and be a transphobe or be hateful or whatever, like I'm going to block you. I love blocking people on Twitter. I will happily block anybody. But I don't want anyone to like dogpile on someone or anything.
See, I'm always torn on that because on the one side, there's no need to fucking send a mob after somebody who's just coming after you specifically. But in this instance, like I'd be okay if a hate mob went after this asshole for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't want to do it because it's not it's not the correct thing to do.
We are not that we hate.
Right wing. We are not conservative.
Right.
This is not what we do. That's what they do.
Yeah, and I don't want. I want to set forward. I have been really taking it to heart in the last like year or two, of like your community is a reflection of yourself. So like if I allow or implicitly promote witch hunting, then that signals to my community that's okay to do.
Yeah.
Right. And it's definitely not okay to do, even because like, okay, if they were being outright racist or transphobic or whatever, then, or like very clearly using some language that's very not okay in 2022, that's something that's really easy to report to Twitter and then hide the reply and block them. But because they just went in and were like, trans JPEG, no thanks, I'll just hide it and block. Like there's nothing there to be gained by. And you don't get any info about any Destiny emblems at this point. So, go crazy. If you can't help yourself but not keep your mouth shut about this, they'll probably out whatever alternate accounts they have too. So,
it also starts this other possible side thing of, okay, so you've added a witch hunt to them, but you've also steered, people to go to them who
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're promoting them kind of implicitly by saying like
weird fucking bullshit thing that you have to think about now.
Well, and you see it so many times on Twitter of people being like dunking on these like they have like 500 followers and they're dunking on them for something stupid they said. Next thing you know, they have 2.5 million followers and they have a show on Fox News. Like you don't need to promote. Yep. I didn't retweet the tweet for a very specific reason, like I took a screenshot, I blocked everything out, I blocked their profile photo. Like it's really easy to not, it's easy to suck the oxygen out of the room and not give them a platform while still saying something easy like, hey, don't be transphobic.
Yeah.
Good times.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of just saying fuck you and block. That's all
I hadn't mentioned anything in a while, so normally I would just like hide it and block and like not even mention it, but it was a good opportunity to say like, hey, this is still not cool, so like either be cool or shut up. It's pretty easy.
And the worst fucking thing is, and this why I hate the internet too, is that you just can't have a fucking normal conversation with people.
Right.
It's always, oh, so you love, these people and all this. Like, I don't care.
Right.
Like it doesn't
I have no opinion.
impact me in the slightest.
Right.
But your loud bigotry mouth is what fucking bothers me.
Well, and what's so crazy about it is it's just a JPEG in Destiny 2. You are showing your entire ass over a JPEG with like pink and blue and purple on it.
Yeah.
This is like the smallest thing ever. You don't have to redeem the code on your account. You don't have to use it. Like Bungie doesn't automatically apply this to people's accounts. You have to go put the code into a website and then like pull it out in the game. You don't have to do any of that. No, my God.
And let's not get into the fact that it was June, and this is a company that's putting out "quote unquote" support for the gay community or LGBTQ community. And
they've been
that's
super
a whole
supportive.
other weird thing that
Right. I mean, it's easy to leverage criticism against Bungie for like selling a pin that has an emblem for Pride attached with it. Yeah. But like they put this emblem out for free. Like it's cool. It's a cool thing. Grumble.
Whatever.
But 99.9% of people that I interact with on the Emblem Collector account are super cool. They ask a question, I answer them the best I can. They go, "Cool, thanks, man." I go, "Yeah, cool, thanks."
It's almost weird when you get a pleasant response from somebody, no matter the platform, where it's almost like, wait, are you fucking duping me right now?
I had that a couple of months ago because someone I was having a bad day, and I had put out some information on the Twitter account of like, oh, here's like when you could get this emblem, or like when the emblem goes away or something. And someone just replies lies. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to call you out because that's rude. Like, and I said like, hey man, I don't really appreciate that. That's pretty rude when I'm just trying to help people. Like, I don't think that's how you should speak to anybody. And they came back and they're like, I don't understand what I said was rude. And I was like, I'm a single person working on a website for no money, helping people get JPEGs in Destiny 2. Like, you could just not say anything instead of being rude. And they were like, oh, I could see how that was pretty rude of me to say. I really apologize. I won't do it again. I was like, damn, really? Okay. Great. I thought I was going to have to block you because I thought they'd be like, go touch grass, loser. And I'm like, that's you're taking
Go hug a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, guess what? I touch grass on a daily basis, and guess what? Grass fucking sucks.
Guess what? It's not that great. Man.
Especially now, because all my grass is dead because it hasn't rained in forever, and I refuse to waste water watering my grass, so it's just green.
Oh man, we have a native like grass and plant situation in our front yard. It's so nice now that it's blooming. It's great. And you don't have to water because we live in the desert.
Well, I'm saying, my wife and I have talked about just turning it into like a rock yard, just getting small rocks to put out there. Yep. And I'm not against it, but it would go against how this whole, like, we're not an HOA or anything.
Yeah.
And it's not against any of like our local, laws and whatever crap, but
bylaws and clauses is what you're looking for, that.
Yeah, there you
go. But it would be such a different thing that I think at least one neighbor would complain about it and then make it a problem.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm just content for letting it all die.
That's the great part around here. It's just like there are a couple of people in the neighborhood that realize we live in the desert and they just have a front yard full of rocks. Like, it looks fine, but like it makes a lot more sense here where water is very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to start this thing?
Yep.
Sure.
If it wasn't so damn expensive, I would not be against having AstroTurf.
For sure.
Just let the water filter through to the dirt underneath and just have.
I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moon here.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Boston started counting, and I briefly forgot what it was I was supposed to be doing.
That's right.
Which was nothing. Just introduce myself.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Don't mind me. It's just the concussion talking.
Yeah, it's not. If you're watching the live stream, down here, right where I'm pointing, is the I-beam in question that Moon will probably get up during the break and conk his head on. So keep an eye for it later on in the show.
It really hurts. Like, I've still got a throb in the top of my head from what happened earlier.
The noise that came out of your mouth when you hit your head on it earlier was startling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you turn it up during your break, you might be able to hear him.
That's right.
Swearing in a corner.
That's
crying
right.
to himself.
Actually, if you want to hear us swearing in a corner, you can listen to patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are numbers, by the way.
You get the exclusive uncensored Outcast, which is about all of the stuff we talk about before the show, stuff about our lives, stuff about Dwayne Johnson's energy drink, stuff about F1, stuff about AstroTurf, and yelling at transphobes. It's all good stuff. That's exclusive there, and the $5 a month tier is the recommended one, and that gets you everything, including early access to We Roguelike It and Critical Misses, and at the $5 tier you get the production meeting too for Critical Misses, which we always try and knock out a quick one, and it turns out into being like an hour and 15 minutes. Usually. So you can check that out at patreon.tvgp.tv or patreon.com/E1M1.
What's the numbers? You confuse me so much with that.
I know, I'm keeping you on your toes. I'm actually really testing you because you hit your head really hard earlier, so I got to make sure you're not concussed or anything.
Well, I mean, his pupils aren't dilating weird, so he's fine so far.
That's right.
So don't fall asleep is what you're saying.
Yeah,
no, you're fine so
far.
far.
Yeah. I know this isn't the high octane podcast most people are looking for, but we'll do. Moon did ASMR on the Patreon a couple weeks ago.
Colin, who is looking for a high octane podcast in 2022? Just
I don't
look
know.
outside.
I feel like that's right. And next thing you know, the murderer moved into the apartment next to me. After this message from Manscaped. Anyways, we're not. If Manscaped could stop sending me emails about sponsorships, we're not going to do it. Please stop. You're driving me crazy.
How much are they putting up
could
for
all
it?
do with it.
It's not going to be enough, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Say, because if you want me to talk about my treasure trail,
nope, I definitely do not. If you want to stop those conversations from happening, patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Well, I haven't had a lot of time to play, but I did squeeze 3 different games in. 3 is the magic number. I hate you so much. And that laugh is going to be stuck in my head for weeks.
Which now got me started thinking about the video that you sent. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. My brain is a train, and it does not have rails. We'll say that much, at least.
That's right.
So Dying Light, I played it for like maybe 30 minutes. I was literally just running around punching and kicking things while the event was happening.
I did that too.
So did you enjoy your experience with, as the boys are now saying, showing them hands to the zombies?
At first, no. Because I couldn't remember the controls. But once I remembered the controls, it was pretty all right. Kicking a zombie into a group of whole other zombies and just watching everything fly like pins in a bowling alley.
Nice.
I was going to say Bowling with Zombies is your new band name, apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, outside of that, between the kicking and the punching, I didn't move that far from the main hub where you start at. Which I was then surprised, because at first I was kind of worried, because there's 2 quests to do. One is just punching zombies to death. You have to do like 200 of those, and it's like 200 kicking them off of buildings.
Yes.
And I was on top of a building, and I'm like, well, they can't climb up here, so what the heck? And the next thing I know, I see like a horde of climbing zombies. I'm like, that's not normal.
Yeah, dude. Just pull a Mission Impossible 2 and get your gun off, and you'll get zombies on that roof and no problem at all.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, apparently a bunch of them climbed, so I just kept kicking them off, and I think I'm at 50 for both now.
Oh, nice.
Where I was like, all right, this is kind of tiresome.
Right.
Yeah. So I did complete the punchy one, and I did get a gold weapon drop.
Okay.
And rather annoyingly, it's a cricket bat.
Is it unbreakable because it's gold?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is it's gold, and I was like, "Are you serious right now? You give me a gold cricket bat? Like, do you know where I'm from? Are you listening to my microphone?"
It's a real sticky wicket. I'm so sorry.
I think
so
I
much
spelled
right
Wicket
now.
correctly, but I'm
I'm
not
so
positive.
Oh, God.
Yes, I did.
The only other thing from cricket I know is LBW. Those are the only two things I know.
What does it stand for, Mr. Smarty Pants?
Leg before wicket.
Correct. Surprised you knew that.
Thank you, Bluey, by the way.
Oh, is that where you got it from?
I did.
Oh, I hate you so much. You completely derailed my non-railed train of thought.
So game number 2.
Well, I had fun. I was running around punching things, kicking things. I think I got the This Is Haran achievement, which is for kicking 50 people off rooftops or 100 people off rooftops, which is great when you've got an event like this. It's like, cool, poof, bye, poof, bye, poof, bye.
I'm wondering if that's why they were doing the events where they were just kind of checking out the achievements and they're like, barely anyone's got this one, so...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would be nice.
Like a bunch of different ones where they just give you different superpowers all the time. It's like, okay. Like, I'm not going to lie. I would kind of kill for, like, a first-person dying light superhero-style game.
Oh, sure.
Like, where you can...
play as Spider-Man.
Jump over buildings with a single bound. And, like, do an early days Superman where you're just punching people through walls. Red Faction... superhero version is what I'm saying.
There you go.
Dude, just Red Faction in general win.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what they can do with falling buildings now?
Oh, man.
Don't start me down that rabbit hole because I love Red Faction too much.
Yeah.
And I still hate the fact that it's called the remastered edition. Like, come on.
I was trying to remember what the remastered edition was called because I knew it had a dumb name.
Yeah, it's knockoff THQ, so all of their names are horrible pun names for their remakes.
Kingdom of some Amalur Re-Reckoning.
The Definitive Edition for Darksiders.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
That might be the best / worst one.
It's the first one. There was like War Chest or something.
I can't even remember what the remaster of the first one.
I thought it was War something, but maybe not.
It's probably War Mastered, and that's probably the worst one. Is my guess.
You're right. It is the Darksiders War Mastered edition.
Nice.
There you go. So it's the
keep it up, THQ, all the way.
THQ Nordic, thank you very much.
That's right.
No, they dropped the Nordic finally.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I believe they got embraced at some point. That's all I know.
That's true. I think they did.
Yeah.
But no, it's Dying Light. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I want to sit down and play it. I want to go over there and play some video games, but I have an apartment worth of unpacking to do, which is hilarious. I'm holding this entire setup together with strings and a prayer, just so you know.
That's right.
You know. But no, it's fun. I had a good time. Whatever. So I'm back on my hot messness.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Because me and the boys played Dead by Daylight on Saturday.
Hot mess summer.
So Dead by Daylight is a really great game still. And I really enjoy playing Dead by Daylight.
Did you buy any new characters?
No, I did not. There's been like 6 killers unveiled since the last time I played that game.
They added a Nemesis from Resident Evil, didn't they?
Yes!
Probably. Yeah. I feel like it's like Fortnite now, where it's like, oh, is Superman in there? Yeah, probably.
Like, okay, so the last time I played it was the hunter guy with the rifle with 5 chains. Since then, and these are just the ones I know of, not including the ones I don't know of, there's K-pop
that's
killer
right.
now.
Yep.
Okay, sure, whatever. The Pyramid Head is Nemesis. There is the Xenobite from the Puzzle Box movies, Pinhead, essentially.
Yeah.
And like 4 others, and it's like, I don't know who these people... I don't know how to effectively survive against these killers because I've never faced them before.
Right.
But, you know, it was astoundingly fun to get back in there. And it's now Series X enhanced.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So it looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's got amazing lighting. It's got everything looks so much better now. All of the levels look weird because they all look different from the last time I played them, just because they graphically look different.
Right.
And they made two of the biggest changes to the game that they possibly make that I'm very pleased with.
Okay.
Number one, the second stage of the hook. You no longer have to mash the A button as hard as you can to stay alive. Now it just gives you a very generous quick time event that you just have to complete to slow the timer down, essentially.
Nice.
So you don't have to destroy your A button while doing so.
Right.
And number two, they have a beta wiggle control option right now.
Okay.
So when the killer picks you up and puts you on his shoulder and is carrying you to the hook, you can wiggle. And when you are wiggling, you would have to wiggle your left stick left and right.
Okay.
So get ready for the N64 palm bend.
That's right.
Is what I'm saying.
Tick, 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 tick.
Or in both my, Justin, and Rob's case, get ready for the Elite 2.0 controller's thumbstick flying off to the other side of the room while you're trying to wiggle the stick.
Your cat would probably love that game.
Yes, I have lost 2 thumbsticks to this game in the past, by the way.
Goodness.
I'm just saying. It's a good thing they come with sets of 3. It's all I'm saying.
Right.
So they've changed that now to a beta option where instead of a wiggle, it does a full circle QTE, and you just have to time the left bumper and right bumper presses. So it's like right bumper, left bumper, right bumper, left bumper, right bumper, left bumper, right bumper, left bumper. It really makes a huge difference, and it's got a great success zone in it as well, so you can make it a more effective wiggle.
Nice.
But the simple fact that I'm not launching like my sticks on the other side of the room, which literally happened to Justin last night. I'm just saying, it happens frequently.
Gotta turn on that wiggle beta.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not kidding. When I used to play this game regularly, I had a different controller I used because I would not put my Elite on the line against Dead by Daylight.
Right.
I refused it.
Right.
That was not a bounty I was willing to pay.
Right.
But I love Dead by Daylight.
Coming back home.
So good and so stupid fun and so ridiculous in every single aspect. Like, there's like 26 survivors in there now, and there's like 15 killers, and I don't know.
I was just looking. There's like a ton of DLC for this game right now.
Yep. But my favorite thing about the DLC is it's almost always reasonably priced, and it always goes on sale.
Nice. Like, that's great.
It's like you can usually pick up like the $5 DLC for like $2 on a sale, and like
it's on sale right now for $1.49 on Steam. I'm checking Xbox right now. But yeah, the Survivor Pack and the Killer Pack, they're $23 each, and they get you all the survivors or all of the killers.
Really cheap. That's great.
And it's still on Game Pass for whatever reason. It's still there. Nice. I'm pretty sure it's been there for at least a year now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dead by Daylight's really stupid fun, and now I'm sitting here thinking, well, I'm really close to getting the base 1K on this game.
There it is.
I just need to play as a killer a bit more.
Just a little bit more work. Just a little bit more.
The only downside is one of the killers I need to get achievements with is the Witch, who is a literal nightmare to play. She teleports.
Oh, good.
But as soon as she's finished teleporting, she coughs. And her vision goes black, and she looks at the ground. So it's really hard to stay on people's backs when that is happening.
Yeah.
But I'm close. I'm this close.
So
close. Like, and throw 1,000 hatchets at people. I can get that over time. That's fine. And this is the exact same chain of thought I had last time I was playing the game, and it's just like, ooh. I hate how much fun I have with Dead by Daylight. It is genuinely a fun game to play, especially when you're playing with a stack of survivors, and especially when you don't care. When winning and losing doesn't matter, and you're just having a laugh about the situation. We went up against the Cenobite. I think I played a couple of rounds, and then Justin joined in after a couple. And the round he joined in was the one with the Cenobite, and we got rolled in like 4 minutes flat.
Wow.
Immediately Justin was like, so this is a warm-up round, right? And we all just lost it. Completely just gone. We all agreed, yes, that is definitely a
Naturally.
warm-up.
We'll take a mulligan, yeah.
And of course, the very next round, we went up against that baby killer who was the trapper. And it's like, great, we stomped them. It's like, we all needed it. That was the ego boost we all wanted, just to say, yeah, you're not hot garbage at this game.
That's right. You're 1-1.
You go. Exactly. So it was fun. It was a great time. We had a blast. It was amazing. And my final game this week, Fall Guys went free to play on everything.
Yep.
So I played a lot of Fall Guys this week because I didn't want to think or anything like that.
Fall Guys is there for you, man.
And yeah, Fall Guys is fun. Like,
yeah,
a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Spartan Showdown event is going on right now, and of course I've already completed all of my objectives in that. Sure, why not?
Oh, nice.
Including collecting the hidden helmets. Okay, sure.
Okay, interesting.
Now I have a giant pink Spartan helmet, whatever. I don't care. It is a very good wind-down game.
Mm-hmm.
The game is really fun to play when you don't have to think about anything, when you don't have to worry about anything. You just sit there, you run through the obstacle course, and I don't know why I'm sounding so zen this week, but you don't. It doesn't matter. You hit with a hammer, you go boing, and
your beam just rolls around. Yeah, like you were talking about with Dead by Daylight, it's a really great game if you don't care about making sure you win. There's only one person that's going to win out of, what is it, 60, 80 people, whatever it is.
60 on the solo show and 26 on Spartan Showdown. But Spartan Showdown is also a duos occasionally.
Okay.
So sometimes it'll do singles, sometimes it'll do duos. When you get matched with a rando, all hell is in the air. Who knows?
So good. But it's great if you're just like, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to have some fun. Like, I'm going to see whatever chaos. Usually when you lose in that game, you lose in such a spectacular fashion that it's like, I can't be mad about getting hit by a hammer and then getting also hit by a banana that's 50 times larger and then falling into the slime. What other game are you going to see that?
Or just some other weird Rube Goldberg thing happening that you're still not exactly sure how or why.
I bounced off of 25 things and lost, I guess? Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like there's a couple of times I haven't, I think I was on Spartan Showdown. The last round is a big circle where you throw explosive balls at each other and you try and knock each other off while a four falls down.
Right.
And I was there was 2 people left. And I got double explodey balls off the map, and I was like, okay, cool. Okay. I
can't be mad about that.
Yeah, fine. Whatever. It was hilarious watching that thing go skyrocketing through the air.
I forgot to mention, I fired that up a couple weeks ago when it, a couple days after it launched, going free to play. And I got some legacy stuff, because I had played before that. So I have, some sort of dinosaur or some sort of hot dog, and they changed how the currency in game works, because before you used to have crowns and crown shards and kudos. So kudos are the purple ones, and now they have all 3 of those, but they have another currency too that is essentially V-Bucks that I really don't care about. But it was like, okay, we're
rainbow.
Yes, yeah, those guys. I think they're called, I don't remember.
That's a cool name for a currency.
I know, it's very catchy. But they said, hey, since you played Legacy before and you haven't spent all of your crowns from essentially before it went free to play, we're going to give you the crown value in kudos. And I was like, oh, cool. So I had 35 crowns that I was holding on to. And the game's like, here's 150,000 kudos. I was just like, what?
Okay.
And for anyone that hasn't played Fall Guys, most of the cosmetic stuff in the store is 200 kudos to buy a thing. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Most of the banners and stuff, everything else is 2,000.
Which is still even not that hard to get if you're kind of playing regularly enough. So I was like, cool. Now
40 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't have to worry. And I got the first season for free too. Because they're like, hey, you played during the Legacy, here's the first season on us. So it seemed fair. That seems Fall Guys is still cool. I played a couple rounds and went, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here I haven't seen before, which is wild. It is all super fun. Fall Guys is great.
Yep, I genuinely like having that option there. It was good to just sit down, hit the button, and go, and not have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff. I will say, serious gamer talk time here, folks.
Yes. Let's go. We are serious gamers.
Screw those achievements.
100%. I'm missing 3 achievements, or 3 trophies in that game, which surprisingly carried over. And the cross progression and cross save actually works really well. But it unlocked
one
all.
Of them is win 5 in a row.
Yes, win 5 crowns in a row. Like you have to be the final person 5 times in a row. That is definitely one of them I do not have.
The only time I'm going to get that is I'm going to host a custom round. There's 2 beans, and then you're going to kill yourself so I can get my crown 5 times in a row, and then I'll return the favor.
That's right.
Provided that's even doable.
I was going to say, but it doesn't work in custom matches.
Yeah, probably not. But
doesn't.
So then
it's a creative solution.
And 99 of your friends need to get together.
That's right. Right.
Hey, it would not be the first time that me and a bunch of community members from TA have all sat on a lobbying screen and hit, okay, everybody hit A now. And we all start searching at the same time to try and get in the same lobby.
Yeah, the ones I'm missing
be the first time.
Are win an episode as part of a party of 3 or more players. And this one I thought I had, but perform an emote just before coming first in a race round. I could have sworn I did that already, but not sure. So
I know. I think that with that one, it specifically has to be a race round because I saw that achievement and did it, but it was a knockout round.
Yeah, I could have sworn I had done it, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you get that eventually.
Yeah, and I do like some of the achievements. I like the fact that equipping the first cosmetic item gives you the achievement Snowflake. That's great.
It's really good.
And the first cosmetic item I got was the stupid studded wristbands. Why not?
Nice. And there's some fun ones too of like fall for more than 1,000 seconds total, like bump into 1,000 other Fall Guys. Like there's some fun ones that you'll get eventually.
There's one that's literally called terminal velocity. Or full throttle, and it's reached terminal velocity. It's like, okay.
It's really good.
Why not?
Fall Guys is great.
But no,
I still recommend it.
I'm enjoying it. It has been a very good. Yeah, I've got 20 minutes. I'm just going to do a round.
Yep.
Be done with it and walk out.
Yep.
It's fun. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. Nimp?
I have not been playing Fall Guys at all. My son is still really into it. But what I have been playing pretty much exclusively all this past week is Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins.
Ah, the old Sappho.
Yes. So.
I'm so sorry, Moon. I'm just doing psychic damage to you time and time again this week.
I really enjoy this game.
Yeah.
It is still difficult, even on filthy casual difficulty.
Right.
So, I didn't really talk about it a whole lot last week because I was still kind of getting into it, and now I have a lot to say about it. So, this game throws everything at you at once. Like as soon as you start, you have actions and options and menus to get into that you have no clue what any of it does, what
and
any
jobs
of it means.
And abilities and
so it kind of took me a while of just I'm going to ignore everything and then just start on the main story and go from there and start messing with stuff as I'm going.
Right.
So you basically just pick a mission from the map, you go into that area, you fight everything, you get your story drops here and there, and then you can complete the mission. Once you've completed a main mission, it then starts to open up like side missions. So roughly each main mission's been about like 30-40 minutes, and each side mission's about 15-20 minutes depending on what it is. So it's real good, I'm just going to sit down and do a mission. Like, all right, that's it for the day. That's all I had time for. So there's a nice little chunks that you can play at a time. And this game, besides also just dumping information on you, just dumps weapons and armor on you constantly.
Oh, nice.
And when I first started, I was individually going through and comparing stats and equipping and all of that stuff for
really
each
doing
of the characters
the work
that I have. Yeah.
Right.
Until I realized that there was an equip all, like an auto equip all function.
Like an optimize.
And just started using that, because there's so much crap that you can. The last mission that I just did earlier today, I went from having an inventory of 58 pieces to 584.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, equip all. Best button choice
equip
ever.
all, mark all as junk, let's move.
Well,
I love a good optimized button. A good optimized button can be a game changer in this kind of stuff.
Well, and it leads to some interesting combinations as well, because one of my characters, they have like basically this worm armor. If you think like a Dark Knight or a Dragoon, full armor set like that, but they don't have a helmet on. What they have is what's called a Tycoon. Actually, I think I wrote it down. It's like a Tycoon hat.
Okay.
Which is a purple fedora. So they've got this full-on plate mail that they're wearing, and then just this fedora, because that was the best thing that I had to equip on them when I hit optimize.
That's great. So, you're getting like the real MMO feel here.
Yeah, you get some really weird stuff. So yeah, I am currently at the point now where I am 3 missions away from beating the game.
Oh, nice.
Because I've been going hard at this game all week. Certain enemy types are just as difficult as you expect them to be, even on Filthy Casual. I have died a couple of times still, so it's not like a cakewalk, but like Tomberries and Master Tomberries suck just as much as you expect them to.
Right. You run into a Marlboro, you're still having a bad day?
Actually, not. I can stun lock those pretty easily.
Nice.
But they can jack you up pretty good if you let them. This last thing that I was fighting, it was Mind Flayers. Were really screwing me up.
Yep.
But yeah, all the classic enemies are there. I just fought an Iron Giant as a boss.
Nice.
There was, Marlboros all over the place. Cactars are still in here.
Yeah.
They still do the fun little sideways running where they're just twitching their arms and legs back and forth. Yeah.
If they ever change that, everyone will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially now that everything's in 3D. I mean, they've been that way since what? Were they in 7? I know for sure they were that way in 8.
They were in
7. They were in the desert underneath the golden circle. Or wherever
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to say that they've been around since like 4. No, 5.
I'm gonna look up. They're not in 5. I've been playing a lot of that.
Okay. But while you're looking that up, Tomberries though, like I was saying, they've completely changed their move set so that they fit in a 3D environment instead of just a 2D, here's your party and here's the enemy party. So when it does its chef stab with its chef knife, it teleports at you. Like it basically opens up this Eye of Sauron, and next thing you know, it's just there stabbing you. It also has the I forgot what its main move was called. But basically it'll wave its lantern, and it'll all of a sudden, like all these like spirits, like purple orbs show up and shoot at you all over the place.
Wow.
And those hurt really bad. And then he can also stun lock you with a move, and he can put silence on you.
Jeez.
So they are still a really big hazard in this game.
Cactar, aka Sabotender, showed up in Final Fantasy VI as its first appearance in the World of Ruin.
So yeah, I have not run into a giant cactar, which would be awesome.
that is a sub menu of this this article is cactars and giant cactars.
So as you're going through and fighting these things, everyone's got a health bar. Everyone has like a defense gauge. Your enemies and your parties, you can wither them down by blocking, taking, or doing damage to the enemies. Once you get their defense gauge all the way down, it basically stun locks them. You can hit circle, and you can do what I'm just calling soul crushing, because I don't know what it's actually referred to in the game, where he basically does the whole thing where their blood turns into crystals, and then they blow up, and then you get...
I've seen that. That's super cool looking.
And then you get a bunch of MP back. the funny thing is, so going back to Tomberries, when you do that to a Tomberry, he walks up to it and gently puts his hand on its head. And then just before it blows up, he jumps back.
That's really good.
So,
man.
With the Cactars, speaking of them, he grabs it by its leg and then just throws it up in the air and it explodes.
That's really good. All right, Team Ninja, you understand Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that going on. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Like I said, there's random difficulties with enemies that you would expect them to be difficult. And then just like the rest of the trash mob, it's just like, okay, just looking at them, never playing a Final Fantasy game, they still kind of follow the steps of, oh, that's a really big enemy. That's going to be really powerful.
Sure.
Or this is a human-sized enemy. That's going to be kind of a pain, but it'll be fine.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, it's just been fun just running through, especially playing with all the classes. Right now, I have 15 classes, and I haven't unlocked all of them.
Wow.
The magic casting classes are super OP so far, to the point that when I was fighting one of the crystal bosses, who was a fire element type, casting water on them constantly would stunlock them.
Nice.
So they didn't get to do anything. And then later on, like the black mage ends up learning flare and meteor.
Nice.
And flare is just awesome. It's basically you kind of conjure like a small sun and then it just kind of flares.
Yeah.
And it takes out like a whole room. Meteor is just a bunch of meteorites falling from the sky, hitting the ground in front of you, and then a giant one just drops and destroys everything.
Super good.
And then Sage, you can unlock Ultima.
Of course you can.
And I've just started leveling up my Sage so that way I could try using Ultima to see what that does.
You got to try that out.
Yeah, but so far there's no summoner class, which kind of sucks, because since this is using the Final Fantasy VII Remake engine, I was kind of hoping to see the new summons in general, just to see how they look, but they are not there so far. But yeah, Sapho, really
good. That's right. Yeah, I gotta pick that up. Everyone seems to really love it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like an energy drink.
Yeah. Oh, I got some of that Sapho.
To get you through your day. I really love how your main character, so after a while he stops being just all about chaos. I mean, he still brings it up from time to time, but just the way that he chews on those lines, it's like listening to Batman.
Right.
You're just waiting for him to go, swear to me.
That's right.
It's stupid fun. I'm really loving this game. The next game that I am really loving, and also my last game, because we already talked about Dying Light, is Far Cry 5, because that came to Game Pass on Friday.
Oh, right.
Hold on. Which one's 5? Is that the most recent one?
No, that's 6. 5 is the one in Montana.
Yeah.
Okay. Christine Bunkers. Gotcha.
Yep. All the filthy preppers.
That's right.
So the last one I had really played was 3. And I own 4, but I haven't beaten it yet. I played a lot of it, but I hit a point. I'm like, this isn't fun anymore.
I'm done with this.
Yeah. 5 has been really interesting. It's also been kind of scary, given our tumultuous times that we live in now, about where it's like, oh yeah, this is a funny thing, cults and blah blah blah. And now that I'm watching these, I'm like, no, this is something that could really happen today.
Yeah. Hey, Ubisoft themselves, there is no political intention behind any of that.
It's just coincidental, no real people.
I'm not saying it's political. I'm just saying nowadays, no, I could see something like this happening, because they do the exact same thing that I would expect them to do, which is stupid. So the game opens up, and basically this cult has bought a lot of land in quote unquote Montana area. The pretty much have pushed out all of the locals. The only people that are left are people that they've allowed, or who haven't been able to stay or move on. So you are a rookie marshal, and you get to choose a male or female body set, which doesn't really matter because you're playing in first person. You never see them. The only thing you ever see are the gloves that you have on. And they also never talk.
And stuff like that as you pull sticks and push twigs and stuff.
You don't even do that anymore. Yeah, they've taken all that out. So you are a marshal, a rookie marshal, who is being sent in with another marshal on a helicopter to go get John Seed, who is the head of this cult. Obviously going into the heartland of a cult and its followers with only the two of you and a sheriff.
Right.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah.
So you end up having to run away. And then next thing you know, they're just like, hey, you wake up in this bunker. We're doing a rebellion against this cult. You should get out there and save America.
Help the cause.
Yeah. You start off on like a tiny island, and all I had was a shovel and a 45, and I was content. Because the first two guys I took out with the shovel, they dropped an automatic weapon. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't want to be loud, but I'll have it just in case. Which, luckily for me, I found a stash which had a bow and arrow in it.
Oh, there you go.
So I swapped out the automatic for that, and it has just been me sneaking around with a bow and arrow in this game for like a good 5 hours, causing mass mayhem.
AKA the Far Cry way.
Right.
Yes. You also can do these small missions to unlock companions who will follow you around and fight with you. The first companion that I unlocked also happened to be a woman who used a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So now we have this sneak thing going where I can tell her to go places and tell her to snipe at people with her bow, and all is well. These companions are stupid because there was a camp that I was getting, like I'd already gone through with my binoculars, tagged everybody, the normal Far Cry Ubisoft thing. And I was already picking, okay, I'm going to take out this guy on the tower. There's like 6 guys on the ground. So we'll slowly pick them off and go from there. I have my sights on the guy on the tower. I have my bow drawn back. And right when I release, my companion walks in front of it and takes an arrow to the side of the head.
Yep.
And there's friendly fire. So it automatically knocked her out. So then I had to revive her so that way she would come back up. And then I was able to take out the guy in the tower. So there's a lot of stupidity with that. There's also a lot of stupidity sometimes where they'll just run out and not really do anything but start getting shot, and next thing you know they're down, and there's not anything you can do about it because if you run out there you're going to be dead. So I'll see you on the next outpost then.
Right.
They can revive you if you go down, if they're smart enough to find the pathing to get to you, assuming you didn't do something weird and janky. I now have a perk unlocked where I can have 2 companions with me. So now I have a sniper lady with me and my bow lady with me. And we are just tearing up encampments like you wouldn't believe. It is still stupid fun to do that. A whole lot of, hey, the sniper's really loud because I didn't give her a suppressor, so you're going over here, and the 2 quiet people are going over here, and we're just going to light this place up. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. There's all kinds of weird, crazy physics stuff going on right now, where I shot at a truck because it had an icon above it, and I wanted to see what the icon was. And it was, you're supposed to be basically stopping these trucks because then it's like, oh, you're preventing the resources from getting to the cult and all this weird crap.
Right.
So I shot the driver as he's driving this U-Haul towards the road, and he still somehow swerves off the bridge and gets out at the same time and is dead. But then I go to follow the U-Haul as it went off the bridge so I could at least, try to open it up when it gets to the bottom. And it's stuck perfectly on the riverbed at the waterfall, and I can't open it or do it. I took a picture of it too because it was so stupid. I couldn't push it off or anything, and I couldn't do anything with it. But the icon was still there saying, "Hey, you should open this thing up and get your spoils." And it's like, I can't.
Hey, thanks,
you
man.
won't let me. Yeah. I really like running around doing the dumb stuff. You can still do the whole thing with like the animals. Like, you lure them into an encampment and they'll go all kinds of crazy, or they'll just go crazy on you. Fire is a real big hazard in this game, like really big. Like I've killed myself and my companions because of fire a lot of times in this game.
Yikes.
Molotov cocktails are fun to use, but you need to be careful which way the wind's blowing.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was the fun chaos game that I kind of wanted, of just me stirring the pot and just being stupid about it. And there's, I don't know what's going on story-wise. Every once in a while, there's like a random hunt that happens where they call me out, and then I just hear everyone say, just shoot him once with a bliss bullet, and the next thing you know, I'm talking to this girl with butterfly wings, and I'm jumping off a statue, because...
Yeah. The normal day.
Yeah. So,
goodness.
Yeah, I will continue playing that. I am also planning on getting back to Dragon's Dogma after I complete Sopfa. So I just needed to concentrate on the controls for this game, because if I don't, I'm still hitting the wrong buttons, and that was starting to screw with me playing Dragon's Dogma. So I figured I'd give one of them a break until I completed the other one. But yeah, that is all I've been playing this week.
Nice. I finished my second run of Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta. That was the 375 run, as I talked about last week. White Mage, Mystic Knight, Bard, Samurai. Had a really rough start to that, but it kind of sped up, and I essentially one-shot the final dungeon. The final dungeon is essentially a boss rush, but you haven't fought the bosses before. So it's just kind of a string of increasingly more difficult bosses. One-shot all of them, including the kind of extra boss. I didn't fight the super secret, very difficult boss, but I fought the extra boss to get a save point right at the end, and then fought the final boss and failed a good couple of times because I didn't have the health. Got a couple more levels, went in there and just destroyed him. So that was... That run went a little too fast from a leveling standpoint. So I have started my third run. I'm doing there's a secret option called Winner. You get what's called a popular run. No one knows how that's determined. It was White Mage, Time Mage, Beastmaster, Dancer, and I used the job bear, which is essentially a way of you going and saying, hi, I don't like the job that I have been provided. I'll make a donation to the cause that the Forge Out Fiesta is running for this year. This year is the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So I use the job fair to get myself Knight, Time Mage, White Mage, Dancer, because I am not going to do another run with Beastmaster. I do not like it, and I don't want to do it again. And I never get Knight, which is kind of funny.
When you do that, do you get to choose what class you get, or is it just giving you another randomized one?
You can do a couple of different options. So you can choose your 4 jobs if you want. And each job, depending on how powerful they are or like exploitable they are, they'll cost a little bit more money. So like if you want to go get an archer or a dragoon, it's probably going to cost you $2. You want to get a blue mage, it's going to cost you $5 or $7. I mean, I could just finish the run as the group was and not donate any money and not use the job fair, but I am not going to punish myself because I'm going to do a bunch more runs.
Or you can just admit that you have a problem and not do the job fair.
Nah, that wouldn't be as fun. But you can say, like, here are the 4 crystals, and here are the options I want to do. So you can either say, like, I want this specific job, or I want you to re-roll my job from one of these crystals. What I did, because I never get Knight, which is funny, because to me that's, like, the first job you use in Final Fantasy V. I told it, all right, I want to re-roll my White Mage into a Knight. I'll keep Time Mage. I'll re-roll Beastmaster into a White Mage, and then I'll keep Dancer. So I kept 2 jobs and changed 2 jobs. And I think that cost me $5 or $7, something like that. I threw $10 at Planned Parenthood because, like, I can afford $10, and every dollar does a lot of good work, especially for Planned Parenthood. So the nice part is, as soon as you tweet out, it gives you like a Twitter code you can tweet out. Updated the database, and I'm off to the races. So I'm kind of excited to... I never get Knight, and I never get Time Mage. I have gotten White Mage once already this year, and I get Dancer all the time, and Dancer is a lot of fun. It seems like Dancer is kind of has gotten some of its logic changed in the pixel version to kind of benefit the player, which is kind of exciting. But I expect this one to be largely a pretty smooth run, especially compared to some of the other ones. So we'll see, I guess. But the Fiesta is still going. We still have 2 months left of it. So we'll see how many. Final Fantasy V, when a run goes well, the game takes me less than 10 hours to knock through.
I was gonna say, what are you generally averaging?
It's about 10 hours. On a really good run, it could go to 8. On a really bad run, it could go to about 15. And like, if you look at the Steam counter, it's always like 35 hours, but that's because I'm like coloring in a Paw Patrol coloring book with my kid while it's running in the background. There's the time is a little bit wonky, but yeah, I have it memorized at this point, and most of the combinations memorized, so you just knock it out pretty quickly. And the game is not... The fun part of the game is most of the end game stuff, where you're going through like optional dungeons and you're fighting super bosses and stuff. I normally have to skip that because of most of my party composition, so you take care of the first 2/3 of the game, and by the time you get to the third, the back third of it, you kind of like do a couple fights and you head right into the final dungeon. So not on this run, because I got a bunch of extra stuff to scoop up. Because we were talking about Meteor. Time Mage can learn Meteor in this game, and it is obscenely strong. But I have to do 3 dungeons to be able to unlock that. So it'll be fun, because I'll be doing a bunch of stuff I usually don't get a chance to do.
It's like, because every year you bring up 4-Job Fiesta, and every year I'm just like, I should just randomly replay the Final Fantasy games until I remember that I'm not made of time.
Yeah, gosh, if there there was like
I'm just like, nope.
If there was like a collection of like the first 6 games that people could buy, that would be crazy, though. It'd be crazy if that came to consoles or Switch, where all of the games up until 13 are available. But yeah,
are you talking about the graphics being HD'd? That's crazy, Boston.
I know. Who would like remaster pixels? I don't even know.
Yeah, who wants HD sprites? That's stupid.
That's what bothers me so much about Square. Square and Atlas are so stupid about how they port things. Let's just call it how it is.
Yeah.
And the thing that drives me crazy about Square is, all you have to do is put this collection on just the Switch. I would love to have it on everything, but Switch has like 400 million units out there. The thing I would love is, on Switch, you could, if this collection would be out, you could play Final Fantasy 1 through Final Fantasy 12, excluding 11, of course, all on the same platform. All of them are over there. That would be great to say, like, you want to play Final Fantasy? Here they all are. You want to be brave and start with the first one? Go nuts. Stupid. So frustrating. Final Fantasy V is great. Pixel Remaster is genuinely really good. All the Pixel Remasters have been really good. And the quality of life stuff they have is really good, especially for 5. When you're like, you need to do like a little bit of grinding, or you're just kind of like going from point A to point B, the auto battle is so good. Especially because it remembers the thing that you just did. So you can kind of take advantage of all the kind of the job's inherent strengths. So it's still great. The only other game I've been playing this week is PlayStation is having another one of their massive sales. It feels like there's a sale every month they've been doing, where it's like everything's 70% off. It's like, great. This is a far cry, from where you guys were like, even on the PS4, where it's like sales. That's Microsoft's thing. How dare you?
Or even, that's only on Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I put things on sale? That's weird. So I picked up The Sims 4 for like $5.75.
And a whole bunch of expansions for like 75 cents.
No, not really. I was looking at a bunch of the expansions, and like, it always takes me a minute to remember that, like, okay, so the expansions are the big ones, and then the packs are the middle ones, and then the stuff packs are the small ones. Like, they have multiple sizes. But I wanted kind of like my main concern with The Sims 4 was, from a controls perspective of like, how do you take this very mouse focused game and port this over to consoles? Nobody has really complained about it, but I have never really heard anyone say like Stellaris. That's a game that shouldn't have worked on consoles. It works really well, and that's like the big talking point of Stellaris on consoles is like, hey, this actually genuinely works. They figured it out. And my wife and I have been both playing Sims 4 quite a bit over the last couple of days. Sadly, there's no multiplayer anything, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm pleasantly surprised at how good the controls are. It has taken both of us quite a while to not use L2 and R2 to kind of zoom in and out, like in most games. So you have to like pull the right stick back and forth, like kind of emulating the scroll wheel. But yeah, it runs. We're playing it on PS5. Load times are, of course, fine. But it runs pretty well. There's a little bit of a hitch when you move between kind of the control mode and the build mode. But that's fine. And it seems great. I had been playing for like maybe an hour, and I was like, wait, does this thing have trophies? And forgetting, of course it does, because I'm fairly sure that every game has to. Yep. And I pulled up the list, and I could see like a bunch of them where it's like, get to level 10 in gardening or whatever. And the very first one was a hidden trophy, and I was like, why do you have hidden trophies in this? What is the secret here? And so I hit on it, and I hit square to reveal it, and it says, it was like 50 Mile High Club, woohoo in a spaceship. And I was like, cool, great, love it, thank you. Thank you, Sims. That's really. But like some of the other ones are like, have 8 playable ghosts in your family, have someone befriend the Grim Reaper, and I was like, all right, those are genuinely fun trophies. Like that's kind of what I want. That's what I like out of Stellaris, where it's like, all right, I'm going to do a playthrough where I'm focusing on this specific thing that I want to get, and you kind of build your game around that. Like that seems like kind of a fun thing where all right, I'm going to start a family. I'm going to get 8 ghosts. Let's figure out how to specifically do that one. So that seems pretty fun.
Yep.
I will also say too, my daughter has been playing Sims 4 on my base PS4, and besides the load times being obscene because it's a big game, it actually handles pretty well on a base PS4 as well.
Nice.
So,
and I'm pretty surprised that they have the whole user created stuff. I don't remember what the thing is, but all that stuff is in there too, which is a thing I genuinely would not have expected. I thought they'd be like, oh well, that's on the PC, it's the Wild West over there. But it's like, no man, here's thousands and thousands of things that the community members have made. So I think that's cool. That's great. Yep. And it looks like they have all of the DLC out there, and all of it seems fairly reasonably priced. But nothing too crazy. Except for the werewolf DLC.
Just don't fall into a depression like I did.
What happened?
That's where that shit comes from. That shit comes from me playing The Sims.
That's right. Yeah, I'm really surprised that that I've had my eye on this for a while, because I like The Sims 4 a lot, and I don't want to sit at my computer and play it. And I'm glad that it was cheap, and I'm glad that it genuinely works really well on consoles. So, thumbs up.
It's always on sale. Anytime there's a big sale, there's always something on Sims.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and most of the time before it has been like the deluxe edition, which comes like with a bunch of other stuff, and it's like it's $40, and I was like, that's for like trying to figure out if it's gonna work. That's like a little bit too much money, and they're like, well, now it's less than $10, and it's like that's you got me this time. That's you finally hit my price there. But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh man. What do we have? All right, we got a little bit here.
Tell my wife about dinner real quick.
Okay. Yeah, we should definitely be able to get to this question here. Oh, man. Let's look at the news stories here real quick, see if there's any late-breaking news on a holiday weekend. Monster Hunter Sunbreak expansion nearly doubles Monster Hunter Rise's Steam player record. Wow. That's great. I'm continually very happy to see Monster Hunter finally take off here in the West.
Yeah.
Anonymous Code English Switch version, PS4 and PC versions coming next year. Yes. Let's go.
Yeah, this is the one I saw on Twitter.
Just over 20% of Steam users are using Windows 11. That's not too much of a surprise. I'm using Windows 11 on my laptop, and it's fine, but certainly not the thing you need to sprint out to use.
Yeah, I think I have 11 at my work PC. This is 10.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also have to deal with XPs and 7s at work too, because they're idiots and don't believe in like updating all the operating systems to work together.
Yikes. It's one of those things where like I won't upgrade to 11 on this machine because it has all the podcast production stuff all set up. But like my next machine, I'll probably run 11. Like whatever, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a little bit different, but it runs the same. Like, it's fine. Man, I did see that trailer for Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War. Boy, that looks real good.
I have no idea what that is, and I'm glad I don't know what that is.
I don't either, but there was a trailer of like, yo, how cool does this anime look? And it's like, it looks very good. I'm not gonna watch it, but there was also a trailer that just came out. It was like today or yesterday for the new Trigun, which looked shockingly good. Way better than it has any right to look. Oh man, doesn't seem like there's anything else going on. Guardians of the Galaxy / Deus Ex prequel writer is BioWare's new senior narrative director. Okay. That's pretty good. Mary DeMarle. All right. Hidden gems you shouldn't miss before the end of Steam Summer Sale. Man, I feel like there is definitely not the fervor over the Steam Summer Sale like there used to be.
Yeah. I think it's probably because everybody's already fucking got everything.
Yeah, like we already have the 400, 500 games that we don't play already.
Oh.
But maybe if you had a Steam Link.
Did you transition our store to somewhere else that I don't know about yet? Because I know we closed down one side.
Mm-hmm. If you go to merch.tvgp.tv. Yeah, I gotta finish putting all the products up there. Now that I have verified you can put a product up there, order it, and get it successfully, then you're good. Yeah, if it were the new Trigun look, I have no idea like what the story is, if it's like a prequel or sequel or whatever. But I am genuinely surprised that it looks that great in movement, because that was another one. It'd be like if they announced a sequel to Cowboy Bebop, where it'd be like, yeah, I don't do we need to do that again? But yeah, it looks pretty good.
So you might want to update the link on the website too, by the way. I think
Biscuits.
the website could probably do with an update generally. There's a bunch of old info there.
Yeah, all right. I'll have to update that.
Okay.
I need to update all the social images on the right-hand side of the page, too, because those are all really old.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if I can find a new plugin for that.
So Bleach went places is what I'm hearing.
What's that?
Bleach went some places based on this fucking
trailer. I don't doubt it. I mean, you sort of almost expect it does and maybe hope it does.
Well, the last time I watched it, which is annoying because I got really into it, I do that thing where, as always, this is really cool. I'm going to go back to the beginning and watch it, get to the same fucking point, and then stop watching it.
Episode 785.
Yeah, and then 10 years later, do the same fucking thing again. It happened with Bleach. It happened with fucking the Wheel of Time series. Like, every time I go to, like, book 6, I'm like, this is great! And then I just burn out on it and then go back to the beginning again. And just be like, okay, now I need to, redo myself.
Yeah, you've forgotten enough of it. You just got to start over at the beginning.
Yeah, but last time I watched Bleach, it was like fucking. It was right when they were getting into the point where it was half death gods and half hollow people combining to make two different kinds of people.
Yeah, I think that's where I dipped out too.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, and I think that may be where I've fallen off too, because I don't remember much after that either.
Yeah, I feel like I remember where I dropped off of Naruto. It's when they did the big time skip, and I was just like, all right.
So at the end of Naruto and the beginning of Naruto Shippuden or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I think so. It was around that time where I'm like, all right, I think I have had my fill of this show. I watched as much as I want to watch. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I think after a while, it's just when there hasn't really been anything going on where it's like, all right, I think I'm done.
Yeah, too many filler seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, are you guys ready to kick this off?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, before we go.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of seeing the adult Lego brochure.
It's dangerous, man. There's a lot of cool stuff
Lego
in there.
What?
There's a brochure for Lego for adults.
Oh, yeah. It's all like the cool stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's dangerous. Yeah. As I look over here and look at my Lego tall neck.
Which, speaking of which, can I just ask? Why have I got shelves and you don't know? Are you in the middle of a reorg?
Who, me? Oh yeah, that's the shelving unit here that had like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag back here. I emptied that out so I bought like 4 new shelves to put in this kind of general area. So I should be able to have organization.
I was say I'm still waiting for that tall neck to come back because they've taken my money, and then like they were like, oh yeah, it's on back order again, and haven't heard shit since they did.
Right. Good stuff.
So Nymph, just to make you jealous, right there on the left hand side of that third shelf down, that's all my Alien novels in order.
Yeah,
dang, nice.
I still can't find that 4th omnibus. But yeah, you want to talk about books? I need to buy. I've got like one of those IKEA like 6-foot tall bookshelves.
Yeah,
and that thing is got like 3-4 layers each shelf. Like I need to buy like 2 capacity. Or 3 more. Yeah, I need a couple more bookshelves.
Yeah,
especially with my more recent buying spree. I don't even know where the hell I'm going to put these.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of July 4th, 2022, starting with Arcadegeddon. Comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One Series consoles, and PC. I've been keeping an eye on this one because it's been on early access on PS4 PS5 and Epic Games Store for a year, maybe. And it genuinely looks pretty fun. Kind of like a fast-moving horde mode weapons swapping kind of thing. Everybody who has given it a shot has said it is genuinely very good. I thought the price was maybe a little bit high for an early access for my blood, but now that it's out, kind of in its full release, I'm very curious to see where it ended up. That's Arcadegeddon.
Why do I know the name Ilphonic as well?
Oh, I don't remember what they made. They made something else that was big, I think.
Ooh. Sorry.
You okay
Google just sent me to a really weird thing when I typed them out to see, okay, what did they make? And then it sent me like all kinds of weird crap.
You hit the dark web.
I did. They made the Predator game, Hunting Grounds, and Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
There it is.
So far.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
I was going to say that was just like the
go.
short list that I could get.
Yep. There you go.
Ghostbusters game.
Next up, we have Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series coming out for PS4, PS5, Xbox One Series console, Switch, and PC. This is both of the Klonoa games. If you haven't played them, they were very good back in the day. They were just kind of a good, solid platformer. I would be interested in playing both of these. I think we are at the point now, or I am definitely at the point now where a remastered series gets announced, and I am going to wait to see if it is something on the better end of the spectrum or if it's the 13 remake, which we don't have it in the news stories, but the 13 remake is getting a remake, by the way. They are unmessing up that game at another studio. So
they're making 23 is what you're saying.
That's right. That's right.
I'm taking off 3 for the horrible amount, how horrible mess it was delivered in.
That's right. And last but not least, we have Ruins Magus on PC. It's a MetaQuest game. Ran across this. This game is really interesting. It's an action RPG.
Hold on. Let's rewind a second here. When you said MetaQuest, I thought this was some...
no, it's stupid. Facebook changed their name because they're dumb and they're probably trying to avoid some sort of lawsuit. And they changed the name of Oculus Quest, which is stupid because the brand loyalty on Oculus was very high, and now no one knows what MetaQuest means. I
literally thought you were talking about some like real-world interactive experience kind of
mixed text on your phone and go to the park. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I wish.
Like geocaching, but weird.
That's right. Even weirder. No, this is an Oculus Quest MetaQuest game. It is an action RPG that actually manages to look like kind of what a standard Japanese action RPG would look like.
Like a first-person dungeon explorer.
Yeah, and it looks really good. People can hate me as much as you want, but I feel like the majority of the VR games you see don't look very good. And I feel like this is the first one I've seen in a while that's like, all right, that looks like a playable thing that also looks graphically very cool. So, Ruins Magus looks cool. That seems like a neat thing. Go watch a trailer. Speaking of trailers, let's talk about Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Direct that happened this week. It's another like 45-minute video where they announced 500 games, which is great. But we'll just talk about the highlights here, starting with Nier Automata, the End of Yorha edition. It is it's that game plus all the DLC plus a few original costumes made specifically for this edition. If you haven't played that and you're interested in it, they're saying it will run at 1080p, 30 frames.
30
docked.
frames,
yeah.
Non-streaming, which was surprising.
Sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans, you got the short end of that deal. Announced Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. This is from the Sayonara Wild Hearts devs. This is a very cool looking black and white puzzle game with a lot of like neon pink around it. That is coming out next year. Just a very short teaser trailer for that. They don't even have a release window other than next year. The Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, a collection of 10 Mega Man Battle Network games from the Game Boy Advance, comes out sometime next year. That looks cool. I know a lot of people feel very strongly about those games. I probably would too had I checked them out at the time. But the prospect of there being 10 of these games is a little daunting.
At the same time, and it's also like, well, how rapidly were you trapping these things out during the Game Boy Advance's life?
Well,
So like,
a lot of them
10
were
out the
like
door.
Mega Man Battle Collection 2, red version and blue version, and then you
Oh,
come
I
up
was
the
gonna
next
say,
one, and
I
there's
think
like
three
the
of them.
Pokemon thing,
The
yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I think there's like 4 games, but they have multiple versions of like different paths and different enemies and stuff like that. So I think if you go right through it, there might be like 4 or 5 games for you to get through, and I don't think they're that long. But if you want to do all of them, you got 10.
It was always a series I wanted to play, and then
Yeah.
because they were GBA games, once you got outside of that release window, you couldn't find them unless you wanted to spend like $200,
yeah.
$300 on them.
Yeah. Almost as bad as Atlas games in general, were general GBA games. It was rough. Next game is Blanc, is a black and white animal puzzle game where I'm fairly sure both of those cute animals are going to die in the end. That's going to come out in February 2023. It just looks like one of those games, you know, like you look at Ori and those games and you're like, yeah, one of these cute animals is just going to totally die at some horrible pivotal point. And it has co-op too. So, you know, you want to ruin 2 people's lives, you can play this together. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. They got a brand new trailer. It looks like it's not grid-based anymore, which is kind of wild. Looks like it's one of those strategy games where they give you like the movement circle.
Oh, like Valkyria.
Yes, exactly. Where you can like go through that.
That is a really good system that I'm surprised did not get taken advantage of by other companies.
Yeah, I wish more companies would straight up copy Valkyria Chronicles, because those games are very good. So I think that's kind of an interesting change. Definitely not like a good or a bad one overall, but the game looks good. Looks like there's some new skills in there for looks like some people maybe can shoot and move at the same time. So there's some cool stuff. That first one was a very good, like, hey, are you interested in XCOM? Play this game, because it is a very smooth introduction into this genre. So I'm hoping this one will be kind of on that same level too. Little Noah, Scion of Paradise is coming out from the Dragalia Lost Dev Cygames. They're describing this as a casual roguelike. It is available now. Kind of cool looking. Kind of like a cool 2D platforming action hack and slash roguelike thing. And it only seems like it's $15, which is kind of a good price overall. Sonic Frontiers got a new trailer. The first comment on this YouTube video was, it's nice to see a Sonic Frontiers trailer from a company that has a marketing team, which is pretty cruel, but maybe not 100% wrong. Because, boy, this trailer looks pretty good once you explain what is happening in Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
This is a game that I have had kind of an eye on because I think it looks like a cool idea that is maybe has been marketed very poorly. And this trailer makes it look pretty neat. I don't know. It's a Sonic game, so everyone's probably going to hate it, even if it's good. But, you know,
Dude,
it's coming
my
out.
boy Sonic is doing, like, riding moves in this trailer.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of cool open world stuff. Like, it has some neat stuff in there. I don't know. I think it's nice to see Sega trying something new. I like what they're doing. So that's out this holiday. Seems like it's coming out on everything. So Disney Dreamlight Valley was shown off. Early access available for this on September 6th. This is Disney's straight up
Stardew?
yes, thank you, Stardew Valley thing. Lifted pretty much wholesale. It's Disney, so that's not too much of a surprise. But this looks fine. I am a little bit surprised that Disney is doing any early access thing in general. But
they probably don't know what it means. They think it's like you pay $30 and get a pre-order for the Black Widow movie on Disney Plus or something.
That's right. Yeah, they're very much Nintendo in that regard. Square Enix showed off Harvestella, which they are also making a Stardew Valley game, but maybe Rune Factory is a little bit more accurate as a comparison.
Don't summon that cursed nightmare into my brain, please.
Well, Rune Factory for me is largely Stardew Valley, but with like a combat system. I like Stardew Valley, and I like that it doesn't really have a combat system, but you could probably make it a lot more exciting if it did. My only concern about Harvestella, because I think the idea of Square Enix making one of these sort of games is very appealing to specifically me. That is a Venn diagram that has a very thin sliver in the middle, and I'm just sitting right in there. My concern, which is probably not unfounded, is I hope they don't really like JRPG story the game. Like, I don't go into these games for like, you're the chosen one to save the planet. It's like, no, I need to go harvest my turnips. I don't really care about something crashing into the planet. I care about paying my farm mortgage.
There's giant space lasers.
I know.
Of course you are the hero that's going to save the planet with your
Square. Just hit them with the newspaper. Stop it. Not all these games have to have a story.
I would love to see Square do a game like this, except Final Fantasy Harvestella, where like you can have clouds to like reap the crops
defend your
for
farm.
you, and like just send all these Final Fantasy legends on like menial tasks. It would be so hilarious.
I was gonna say, there's crystals in the game, and they haven't said no. There's no Final Fantasy stuff in it.
There you go. They'll be more than happy to sell you DLC or a gacha system for Final Fantasy characters.
Exactly.
Don't you worry.
Cloud costumes packs.
That's right. Yeah. It's only $25 for one costume. And lastly here, Persona 3, 4, and 5 were also announced for the Switch. Gasp, shock, surprise. The only detail I think we have assumed about the other versions, but they outright said on this one is all 3 games will be sold separately. So for Game Pass, that doesn't really matter. But for, and everything else is kind of the same deal. So if you want to play those games, playing on the Switch is probably a really great way of playing them, especially for Persona 3, because Tartarus can be pretty grindy. That can be a rough place to go into. Let's move on to questions here. Jimbo Jangle sends one here. With all the video game conferences that took place last month, seems like reactions are very mixed. So my question to the crew this week is, what was your favorite past E3 or E3 moment? What was something shown or announced that had you texting or calling or paging your friends in excitement? Looking forward to your answers.
I got an easy one. Crackdown 3. Well.
That's right. Whoops. I actually saw today a clip from E3, I think it was 1995, that I have never seen before, and somebody billed it as the shortest E3 press conference in history. I was like, well, now I need to watch that. It was basically a presenter that says, and here from Sony to announce further details about the PlayStation. Welcome them on stage. They go up on stage and they go $299, and then they walk off stage and everybody goes crazy. And I was like, that's great. That's a really great moment, because they were talking about it with like Bernie Stoller passed away this week. RIP, of course, who helped start it, found Atari, and he worked at Sega. He was the one that specifically was like, hey, you need to come to terms with the fact that the Saturn is dead. It has been dead for a year. You need to stop, and you just need to make something new. And he was really the catalyst for Sega kind of restructuring and making the Dreamcast, and then buying, I don't remember what the studio was called before they turned it into 2K Games. But he was really the catalyst behind both of those decisions. And one of the big things behind the Saturn was like, it's way more expensive than $300, and Sony just came in and was just like, hey, we got a winner at $300. Peace. Bye. So that's that was a pretty crazy piece of history.
It's a shame that they didn't learn from that for the PlayStation 3 era.
I mean, you just needed to get more than one job. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I apologize. I forgot it was all my fault.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
How dare you? Haven't you seen the Spider-Man font on this thing? Come on. Favorite E3 moments. I feel like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Caffeine Guy or any of the Konami press." All of the Konami press conferences are just absolute gold. They're so good.
Specifically, the Death Stranding one and the Metal Gear Solid 5 one.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really wild stuff. But I feel like
I'm not gonna lie. I like all of the Ubisoft conferences that Aisha Tyler did.
yeah, especially with her like general disdain for capital G gamers, which was pretty great.
She was a really good anti-toxic gamer BS kind of person.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Microsoft's E3, not this year and maybe not the previous year, but the couple of years before that, it was always like the show to watch, where it's like, all right, they just came out on stage for an hour and a half or 2 hours and just one banger after another, and nowadays it's all coming out to Game Pass. Like, it seems like they have kind of saved all of their stuff and kind of locked that style of presentation down. What else am I thinking of?
I know for me, one of my favorite ones was when Square finally first announced the FF7 remake, and it somehow didn't get leaked that's what was happening.
It's like the only thing that has not leaked from Square. Yeah, that was a pretty because Square has done that so many times to us, where it's like, here's Cloud back again for another direct to Blu-ray movie, and it's like, son of a.
You can go back and watch like the reaction videos of like everyone saying, "Shut up, shut up! They're not remaking this game."
Like,
and then
of course
they get
they
to the end and they finally say,
the
"No,
the
we're
word
doing
remake comes up and the internet explodes.
Yep.
On
Same
the
thing
opposite,
with oh, go ahead.
On the opposite side of the coin, I don't know if you remembered when Final Fantasy XI was announced after the huge mammoth that Final Fantasy X was. It showed off this whole trailer at E3, and this was like around the days where like OneUp.com and all that would have some of these reaction videos. They showed it, and it's like a return to like original Final Fantasy. Here's some crystals and got chocobos and like a more grounded one, and it says Final Fantasy XI, and the place goes nuts. And then the word online comes up, and the whole place goes, oh. Like, it's just, it's one of the best, like, E3 turns. It's just like, I
mean, hell, 11's still up and running.
11's great. 14's great. That's why I don't play either one of them, because they're very good.
my other favorite one that happened recently as well, and is also Final Fantasy VII related, was when they announced Sephiroth for Smash Brothers. Because it was another one of those things where it's like somehow it didn't get leaked, and nobody was like, "No, there's no way they're putting Sephiroth in here." And then they start playing the music, and all you see is his boots, and everyone loses their mind.
Mm-hmm. He kills Mario. He kills Kirby.
That was the best part when they did that Mario thing, and everyone's like, "What the hell?"
So good. Actually, most of those Nintendo. It's always like E3 adjacent. They haven't been to E3 proper in a while, but like they always release a really big video that same week. And for the longest time, multiple years, it was always like, all right, which crazy character are they announcing this time? Oh, they did a Banjo-Kazooie fake out. LOL, it wasn't that. Oh, it actually is. Like those were always really good. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was like a really great classic one. I feel like
we have to do positive because I can do some negative here.
Sure, yeah. I think.
Are you talking about like giant crabs?
No, I'm talking about the PlayStation Moves, like stupid Harry Potter spell live demo.
Yeah, that was like the Move and Connect era. Like there's a famous Star Wars one where the action is delayed a couple seconds after they moved. Like, that's...
remember a lot of memes about the Star Wars kid playing the Star Wars Connect game.
The bottom of an Avatar shoes. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were really rough times. Like, it's looking back on it, I kind of respect that they tried a lot of that stuff and it almost universally failed, and that had to be incredibly difficult to show off on a big stage too, where it's like, here's this little Connect. Someone is 50 feet away. It's like, good luck.
Well, that's kind of my thing too, because as everyone knows, I mostly play JRPGs, and those weren't really represented in E3 a whole lot. Like,
they'd be like
it would always be...
It'd be like a Sony sizzle reel.
Yeah, there would always be some side piece that came out like a week after E3. It's like, oh yeah, and they showed,
oh, we saw something. Arc the Lad 4, and it's like, what? Yeah. Wait, what? For real?
So there, I never really paid attention to E3. It's only really until the last 2-3 years, when everyone branched out, that all of a sudden you started seeing like Persona popping up, Tales of Arise,
and like Persona coming on E3 is a big deal now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I never really paid attention to it a whole lot.
It's a long road we have traveled since Persona 3 came out on PS2, and people are like, they're still putting out PS2 games, huh? Like, that's pretty late, man. I don't know.
So I'm playing a game as a high school student.
That sounds... I got to keep to a schedule
that I have to follow, and I have to take a test.
Joining a club. This sounds great. Days. It's like...
Meanwhile, it's like the hardest game ever that will kick your teeth in if you're playing like a Shimigami game or something.
I think one of the first episodes of the show is all about joining the swim team and how excited I was about it. It's been a long trip. I'm trying to think of anything, because like when you look at like the announcement of like the Xbox One, that was largely met with a pretty cool reception because of the DRM messaging at the time. Also sort of famously with Sony putting out their short video. Same with kind of the announcement of the PS4 was sort of like, okay, like, you're putting out a fourth one, cool. PS5 announcement was only wild because of how that thing looks. There's a lot of like, all right, here they're going to show it to us. What? What have you done?
Did somebody had an anime fever dream when they were designing that thing?
That's right. And
I also like just like the podcast that would come after, like especially with the Giant Bomb ones back then, where it's like Microsoft had their big day. Hey, we have Phil Spencer with us tonight to talk about what they did today.
Yep. Oh, those were always so good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was like really... I feel like the MGS3 reveal was particularly big because the MGS2 was so huge before that. That was...
MGS Rising had the best reveal. All them melons, my man. All of them melons.
That's right.
I still remember that.
Oh,
look at how much you can cut these watermelons up from the food stand.
Same with like MGS2, where they're like the ice cubes melt in real time. It's like, okay, cool, man.
Yeah, MGS2 also had the whole thing though, where it showed Snake doing the things that you did as Raiden. Like,
yes,
this is where Marvel learned their lying in the trailers thing from. They learned it from watching Kojima.
That's right. Oh man, yeah. I feel like there's probably like a big thing we're kind of forgetting, but I feel like kind of in the modern E3, I feel like either stuff leaks pretty early, which I generally don't have a big problem with, or a lot of the stuff that gets announced is sort of like, all right, Ubisoft is making a brand new game. It looks super cool. It's a battle royale. Come on. Like it's kind of this like, it's kind of the monkey's paw curls where it's like, they're making another, oh man, it's a gotcha game. Okay, cool.
Or you get something stupid like, hey, we are working on Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5.
Right.
Look forward to it in 2040. Yeah.
That's right. Like, yeah, it's, and I feel like so much of the stuff that gets announced lately, for better or for worse, we kind of haven't had like that big announcement for a while, I don't think. Can we think of anything in the last couple of years that's been like, oh, that came out of left field and that's actually happening, other than like Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Not really.
I'm struggling to think, because a lot of times it's like, a big thing for me is like, hey, there's a new Forza, there's a new Halo game, there's a new this thing. We've been talking about, we're working on this game for a couple of years, and here's first gameplay.
That's why I always love the way Bethesda did stuff, because they would be like, here you go, here's an announcement trailer, by the way, it's out in like 8 months.
Yeah, it comes out this fall. Like,
yeah,
it comes out in 3-4 months. Yeah.
I don't know
the problem. They tried doing that with. They tried doing that with Starfield, and everyone's like, "There's no way this game's ready to go."
Like, November, come on.
Yeah.
Why do we have to lie to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to struggle to think of anything that's been like. I feel like the big surprises for me have been this indie studio that I really like is clearly getting a huge budget for this next game they're making, and they're coming out with something incredible looking.
That was actually close to what I was going to say. It's something like indie studio that, like, out of left field I hadn't heard of or seen. It's like, oh, they coming out with a game that looks interesting,
right? Or like Kojima Studios, here's their new trailer. And it's like, of course they've been working on something. It's wild. It also seems like a favorite dream. I'll play it. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good or bad, but sort of the state we're in. I feel like Nintendo's stuff is more like that than anything else. Of just like, oh, you're making another. Okay. Been 25 years, but sure, make another one of those, put it on the Switch. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like everyone talking about, oh yeah, they have to announce something for Metroid Prime 4. No, they don't. They're like, it's coming up on what, their 30th anniversary?
Yeah, they don't care.
It's like, yeah, they don't, because guess what they did for the 25th anniversary of Metroid? Nothing. So
yeah,
they had a Legend of Zelda thing because it was also the 25th anniversary for Legend of Zelda, which I'm fine with because I love that series too. But I mean, Metroid seems to be such an afterthought for Nintendo right now that I don't know why anyone expects anything.
I think someone said the other day, it's like, well, Square has to announce the Pixel remaster coming into consoles because it's like the 35th or whatever anniversary of Final Fantasy. And it's like, you clearly do not know how little that company cares. They will sell you merchandise. They will sell you a shot glass for $25 before they care anything about their games.
They will spin off the Pixel Master versions of those games into 50 different other sub-stories before they give you the remaster on a console.
They will sell you 6 of them at $30 a piece. Yeah. They're more than happy to do that. So, like, watch again for the monkey's paw on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget to join or go check out our YouTube channel. We shoot all the videos there for everything we record, even if we don't go live. Join the Discord server. That has been a great place. It's not one of those servers that's like moving a mile a minute. Oftentimes we go for a couple of hours without anyone really chatting, so you're not. Yep. You don't have to stay glued to it.
I like how that's the mile marker. Sometimes we don't say anything for an hour,
and that's pretty cool. And then someone will like drop a hot news story.
Full-grown adults with full-time jobs,
right?
And we can't be talking 24 minutes a second.
You could tell who's having a quiet day at work if Discord is popping off. You can check that out, and please don't forget to check out patreon.com/E1M1.
Them ones be numbers, boy.
Thank you, Kratos. You can check out you know, all the cool stuff we talked about at the beginning of the show, and you make sure that, as we talked about, we don't have to take any sponsorships from some weird companies about stuff we don't want to talk about. You can secure the hosting financially. Hosting costs so much. Man, it has not been going up, but I am really worried that it will at some point.
You can secure your ability to never hear me talk about my treasure trail ever again by
right.
supporting the
That's right, over on our Patreon.
Trust me, I'm holding back like you wouldn't believe.
That's God, boy. Or maybe if you do want to listen to that, listen to the Outcast where we get uncensored. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. You can support us and all the stuff you love the best by sharing on social media, telling your friends. Word of mouth is the biggest way of sharing all this stuff, and making sure you rate us 5 stars everywhere you listen. And we greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate you listening to this episode. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 I only have one title this week. Nimp, why don't you start us off here?
All right, I have My Brain is a Train, a really sticky wicket, or a real sticky wicket, Leg Before Wicket, and Thank You, Bluey.
That'd be great for our SEO.
That's where I stopped.
Yeah.
I honestly, Leg Before Wicket and Thank You Bluey would be SEO bangers.
That's right. Moon, what do you have?
Bowling with Zombies, a real sticky wicket, N64 burns. This is a warm-up round. The old Sopfo.
Got that old Sopfo.
Like geocaching but weird, and womp womp.
Obviously on the short list is a real sticky wicket. Anything else jumping out to you guys?
I like the old Sopfo as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. The old Sopfo. SOPFFO. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards a real sticky wicket.
Yeah, that's fine. We all knew it was going to be the winner the second you said it anyway. This doesn't even have to be a conversation.
I did like critical psychic damage to you.
Because I hate cricket. I hate cricket so much.
Those are words you would never have expected to come out of my mouth at really any point.
No.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't watch cricket.
I keep you on your toes.
Watch cricket is a savage.
I don't watch cricket because I don't have 15 hours to watch one game that is crazy complicated.
When I lived in Australia, I played cricket, and I still have my cricket bat, post, and ball in the closet.
Nice. Well, you can't just get rid of them.
No.
No.
I hate cricket.
But I am ready, because I kind of assumed it was going to be something related to cricket, so...
Right.
I'm also ready, and I'm going to drop a super deep reference that no one's going to get.
I like it. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 767 for July 4th, 2022. A real sticky wicket.
Keep the Barmy Army out.
A difficult or embarrassing problem or situation, a pitch that has become wet because of rain and therefore on which the ball bounces unpredictably, or a difficult or unprecedented situation.
Like the entire length of our intro song. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.